Hello, everyone. On our podcast show this week with Winston and Steven, we got expensive gaming peripherals to talk about, especially since someone broke their keyboard and mouse, apparently. And a microphone company that we all know and love, they're getting into the gaming space, and that's going to be really interesting to talk about. Also, speaking of master classes, Nvidia has another one on how to burn power connectors going to your graphics card. And we'll learn more about that from Winston coming up in a little bit. And finally, we're going to wrap up with a couple of news items this week that are a little bit interesting, maybe. So if they aren't, let us know in the comments and find us better ones. Rolling on to you, Winston. What do we got going on?
Well, my keyboard and mouse died the other day, so I thought, okay, getting a nice replacement, maybe something with RGB or wireless, But have you seen the prices of gaming keyboards and mouse lately? Oh my God! Well, I'm shocked. Seriously, I wanted to buy a nice keyboard and mouse, and brand like Razer or SteelSeries, Logitech, or something like that. But you'd expect to pay well over $200 to $300.
Ouch.
That's just for the set, for the keyboard and mouse.
Ouch.
So I'm not joking, seriously.
Ouch.
I'm not sure whether it's, a supply chain issue, but all I could say is, imagine the massive profit margin that you can get, from the keyboard and mouse. These companies must be, breaking it. Just going to give you an example. I've recently searched online on Amazon, things like that. A Razer gaming keyboard, wired, with the wired USB cable.
Just a wired one, right? Not wireless, nothing fancy.
That's it. $140 to $200.
What? That's a basic keyboard.
That's with a little bit of RGB gaming and that, but
is it at least mechanical keys?
Mechanical keys,
okay.
With all that kind of stuff, with switches, that kind of stuff. But then the wireless version can go up to like $220, $230.
Holy
it's just crazy.
That's
just
insane.
a keyboard, right?
How
then
is
you
that
have the
even
gaming mouse wired between 50 to 100. And if you get like the special edition, like, the Halo series and the Cyberpunk versions, they're up to like $150 for the mouse.
Jesus. Jesus.
And that's just one brand, Razer, because we all know Razer expensive anyway. Okay, go for SteelSeries, another well-known gaming brand.
Yeah.
A keyboard, again, $120 to $180. A wireless version, you're looking at $190 to $250. And then, of course, the wired mouse around $50 to $80, and the wireless versions for anything from $60 to $100 and $120. So, that's like, whoa, I want to get a replacement, but I'm not spending $200 to $300 for a keyboard and mouse.
Wow.
It's just crazy.
Wow.
I'm not a gamer, but I like to have some nice fancy features like, mechanical switches, click keyboard, or a nice RGB with the mouse and stuff, and wireless. I hate, changing batteries, so you just get the wireless versions, right? But come on, man, $200 to $300.
That is crazy.
Imagine the amount of profit they make per keyboard and mouse set. I mean, but it could be a supply chain issue, could be something to do with the internals, like, might have some microchips in there which control all the, a lot of the keyboards and mouse now are in sync with a lot of the, for example, some of the motherboards come out with RGB, right? And they have the software to control so that you can have the keyboard, mouse system and the lighting all match and sync together. And, it's maybe it's to do with that. I don't know. But I'm not paying $200 to $300 for a gaming keyboard and mouse. Would you?
No. And I think that in these crazy price brackets and everything like that, to be perfectly honest, I'd like to buy nice things, and I'd like to buy them once. But in some cases, when you're spending almost 4 times the amount of money that you could spend on a off-brand keyboard, mechanical keyboard, using the Keychron keys or one of the cheaper mechanical keys on Amazon, it makes it a very difficult proposition. Like, for example, I bought the Logitech Pop keys. I like that keyboard. It's actually a lot of fun. I know some people don't love it because of the round keys, but I touch type and I actually hit the middle of the keys, and I'm fine with that, right? The round keys is fantastic, uses regular batteries, lasts forever. I like that keyboard. But what I found even better was after I bought that keyboard, I actually found out about Keychron.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
the switches.
These guys?
Oh, they're the small keyboard.
The small keyboards. It's Bluetooth. You can even run it to your phone. It's it also works wireless.
Yeah.
and wired. And this thing was only about $79 on sale. It's
this
aluminum
is
chassis.
A
Aluminum.
60, is that a 60% keyboard? That's what they call it, right?
I think so. It's 10 keyless.
Yeah.
10
So
keyless.
I've got something similar, like this one here from Corsair. Now, this is a mini one. But again, 10 keyless. It hasn't got the keypad on that. And I've been using this for over 3 years now, wireless.
Yeah.
And, when it first came out, you're looking at about $200. And, it's just crazy. How much was yours?
$79.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So, and it's solid. Like, I took this thing apart to do a mod on it because I wanted to, dampen out all the other keys and everything like that. So I took it apart. I put like rubber matting underneath and everything. I put it back together, and I was amazed at the quality of this thing. It uses proper torque screws and everything like that. When you put it together and everything, it feels solid. Like, I mean, it feels more solid than some of the older keyboards that I had, even the wired ones, right? Which is incredible for the price. So I hate to say it, but I think that a lot of the other off brands that have the ability to build keyboards for other brands are now starting to put out their own keyboards, and they're really good quality. It's like they don't know how to build a bad keyboard because they've never built a bad one.
Yeah. What's another brand called Ducky? Remember that?
Ducky is really good too. Yeah. No, like Keychron and Ducky. And there are a couple other brands that are Amazon exclusive brands. And there's nothing wrong with Amazon exclusive brands. Like, Anchor started on Amazon. And they're world renowned as being high quality. So I can't see why these can't be good keyboards. Just read the reviews. And
another 60% keyboards. I think the smaller size now getting really popular because they're just easy to carry.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people, when they, sometimes actually take their keyboards with them. Believe it or not.
I might take this one with me. This is actually
exactly because they're small enough, and because of the size now, 10 keyless or 60% size, it's easy to carry around, especially if you're
if you're
doing stuff like that. But yeah, even that, even 10 keyless keyboards and 60% keyboards from the branded Razer and SteelSeries and Logitech, they cost just as much. It's just crazy. Another thing, you mentioned about changing your keycaps, right? So are they standard for all the keys? Because there's one I took out just now and has this connector.
They're the same.
So it's got that X kind of flip. Same for all keys.
Yeah, I have to mention something as well too. You'll notice a certain symbol at the bottom of this keyboard.
Right.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
It's an X.
Is that HyperX?
That's HyperX.
That's HyperX?
Yep.
So they make HyperX keyboards. They make the keyboards for HyperX brand. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is that I took the HyperX pudding keys. They were on sale.
Oh.
The keycaps, because I liked the sound of them better, because the ones that came with this were actually a lot cheaper. Yeah. They were thinner. But I love the way that these hit. They feel so good. And I had to change them over to the pudding keys because, and I don't want to get into, like this whole keyboard modding thing, but pudding keys are really good because number one, the etching is not on top. So it lasts a lot longer. The plastic is higher quality. And it has a dampened feel when you type on them that doesn't, it just feels nicer to me.
It's almost like, the DJ mixing decks. And there's people saying that, the crossfaders, some of them are really like hard and strict in terms of like, left and right. For example, my friend's a DJ and he has the Technics, one of the, I think Pioneer or Vestax or one of the mixers. And it's got this crossfader and he just flicks it with his finger. He just flicks it, and the crossfader goes.
He just knows where it is.
It's so smooth. You know, so smooth. Same with the keyboards, right?
Yep.
The key, so you type in, and it depends on how how much you type anyway. But you get that feeling on keys.
Yeah. It's the same with everything. I mean, it's a human factor where you're a certain feel, the way your fingers are, or maybe you have calluses or something like that. It just reacts differently to different people.
Yeah.
And what I found is that the nice thing about mechanical keyboards these days, especially some like the Keychron, which is completely modular, you pull all the keys off, you put your own ones on, you can even loop. Like, there's so many things you can do these things. There's a version of this where it's actually you can actually remove the keys themselves. They called it something, I can't remember what it's called. This one isn't, but they're hot swappable.
Oh, right.
So you can pull all the keys off and you can change your ASDF keys to something completely different if you're gaming.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can actually pull those all off. You can lube them. Like there's this black art to keyboards and even mice that is incredible. I wish I had time to explore that hobby. There's some really cool keyboards out there.
Yeah, there's loads of modders out there doing modding keyboards, believe it or not. But it's just amazing how much this kind of sector has grown.
Yeah.
You're not just talking about boring beige keyboard for your office, right? Now it's like gaming, the response times. There are keyboards out there which are specifically made for streaming.
Yes.
There are like control decks. You know the stream deck that I have from I think it's Elgato, right?
Elgato, yes.
Yeah, for streaming. You could have programmable buttons for, screen switching, all that kind of sound effects. You could program those buttons. So now you have keyboards which are built-in streaming, functionality, which is great because now I don't have to buy an extra thing. It's all controlled within one keyboard, which is what I like as well. Yeah. But for those, I understand the price. Fair enough. Up to $200, fine. But I think this is so much for a keyboard. I mean, it's crazy.
You can totally spend a lot here. I don't know if there's a really great answer to whether you should buy name brand or whether you should go on Amazon, buy a cheap chassis, which is good, and then maybe pick your keycaps and pick, build it up that way, because you might still be ahead of the game, but you also have something that is completely unique to you. And
that's true.
I think there's a draw to that, but like mice, a little bit more difficult. But I did hear that there's a Canadian company that actually does completely custom parts and everything like that. I can't remember what they're called. We're gonna have to look that up and maybe drop that in the comments at some point. But they actually do sell off custom parts in Canada, and there's even a company that does mouse parts.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, the mouse, for example, I'll show you this one here. There's things called glides, right? So these things here are called glides. Yeah. Right. These little plastic things here, and these things can be swapped and changed due to wear and tear. And this glide here is what actually makes your mouse move faster, depending on the surface, right? And people don't realize, it's just a mouse, but this thing have some technology behind it, right?
Yeah. It's it's for wear. It's for there's a certain the coefficient of friction is different on these depending on the surface. If you use a aluminum mouse pad, you should get a rougher one so it doesn't slide all the way across like a puck. This HyperX mouse that I have here actually came with two sets
of slides,
so you can tune that up. They even include rubber grips, and that's the other thing that you can get for your mouse too, is rubber grips that you can stick on the side to customize the feel. I know that in some mice that have them built in, they don't last very long. So if you can just double those up and put an overlay on top of that, you might get a better fit for your hand, especially if you have a bigger hand, right? Like, don't suffer. There's ways to fix this.
Because it's to do with ergonomics, and you don't want that repetitive strain injury, right?
Yeah, your wrists are very important. It's what you game with. It's what you play with. It's what you do hobbies and cook and do other things with. So take care of your hands. And, if you don't have a good keyboard right now, if it's not feeling right, one of the things that I found very beneficial is just to buy wrist rests and also mouse wrist rests.
Yeah, the mouse makes a difference, definitely. Yeah.
So even if you have a cheap keyboard, I think, for the $25, $30 to pick up a set, even the cheap one, I think you might find a lot of joy from doing that. Your keyboard obviously is broken, but if your keyboard is not broken, you need an upgrade. I think that's actually a good upgrade. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about it. I mean, you got to set your budget. I mean, if you're looking at about spending the total keyboard and mouse set, I think 150. It's about the max I would are willing to spend.
Yeah, I'm under 100. I'm sorry.
Anything over 200, crazy. Because I was
nuts.
thinking of getting one. I think I need one for moving around because I have a system in a living room. I have the system in the bedroom. But I also have one in my little room where I do all my work. And, I'm not gonna have 3 sets of keyboard.
No.
I just take one wireless keyboard and mouse set, which I carry with me to one room to the next, and just plug in the USB dongle and away to go. But I'm not buying 3 sets.
No, God, no. And one of the nice things too is that if you want to do it this way, if you have a desktop system that doesn't have Bluetooth on board, you can actually buy dongles And because a lot of these new keyboards, like this one here, actually allows me to hook up 3 different devices, I just need to hit the function key, and it'll change to the next device.
That's right.
Very
That's right.
handy.
Yeah.
Very handy.
I've seen it with function keys. You can set up to connect with your iPad or your Amazon TV or whatever, and things like that. So yeah, definitely. That's a good way.
One way to save some money. I mean,
that's true.
So Bluetooth dongle, $9 off Amazon. A good one. And, that's Bluetooth 5.0. You can even now use wireless headphones. So versus buying a $150 keyboard, you can take one of the ones that you already love and have it migrate to different devices. So good value, pro tip, consumer advice right here. I think that's fair.
All right, keyboards and mouse aside, me and Stephen have been working on some streaming kind of techniques, and also setting up all the camera gear and the resolutions and frame rates. And all. It's been a learning curve.
Yeah,
hasn't it? Right.
We're gonna have to use some more lights over there. I think that's time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's because I've always set my stuff on auto, but then now, because of the manual settings that we need, hopefully we will get a better stream, better video quality, and better audio quality.
If it's not, so let us know in the comments.
Audio quality. Tell us about this company, this new product that they have.
Well, it's a company that, funny enough, this company reached out to me about 20 years ago.
Wow.
And they've been around for that long. They've been almost 20 years ago. I started with I was on YouTube. Like one of the first tech tubers in Canada to reach 10,000 subscribers. It was tough back then. No sponsors, no money, not even the affiliate, the program, like the revenue share program was not even in place in Canada.
Oh, right. For YouTube.
Exactly. But already a lot of brands realized that getting on YouTube, getting their product out there, doing reviews on YouTube was the way to go, because people can see how a product sounds, how a product looks, how a product, the inbox experience. That's why unboxing videos were so popular. And I was having trouble with my audio, because I couldn't figure out why everything sounded like crap. So I reached out to RODE and say, hey guys, I need help with my videos here. They sound like garbage. Can you help me upgrade my audio? And they said, sure, no problem. Based on what we're hearing here, you need this and you need this. Awesome. And they asked me what my address was. It's this. Okay, no problem, mate. and this company is RODE, a Australian company, and they realized that, hey, you know what? If we can get in ground level with all these creators that are on YouTube right now, they're doing videos and whatnot, we can own that space. And over the years, they have. I don't know a single person that has a video camera that's vlogging that does not use a RODE microphone, whether it's the RODE Video Mic Pro, RODE Video Micro, even recording on their iPads or their smartphones. It's a RODE mic with the puffy thing and the RODE on the side of the blimp.
Well, what are they called? Dead cat. They called dead cats.
They are called dead cats because they're fuzzy like a cat. And there's also foam filters as well too. I still have a couple of RODE mics which I really love. I also have another RODE mic in my other room which I use for voiceovers. That's my condenser mic. Not my condenser. Sorry, my other mic over there, and it takes a lot of power, but it sounds beautiful. It picks up everything in the room.
I use the Video Mic Pro for my camera now and again. The Mini is what I use for my iPhone sometimes. And then I have this one you gave me, which is the AI one.
That's your USB audio interface. And
that's right.
Low latency. It's got a mixer built right in. Pretty fantastic piece of kit that enhances your audio. So these guys have been at it for quite some time. And recently, they've gotten really into software development and everything like that. They brought out this brand new Rodecaster Pro. Which is it's for podcasting, right? So it's got all the sliders and everything. But the newest one is a computer. It's freaking amazing. It's got processing built on board. If you don't sound good on that board, there's something absolutely wrong with you, because it is amazing. You just hit the switch and it does almost everything for you. So you have no excuse but to produce a really good audio podcast. So obviously, they are professionals in the audio space, microphone space. There's no doubt about that. And now, because they have had such a great relationship with creators, video filmmakers, and just regular tech tubers, there's a space that they're kind of ignoring, and they want to address that. And that's the creators. They're creating streaming gaming content. Now, I know what you're probably saying is that why would they support a group of people that play video games online? That's not creating. Actually, it is. If you look at
there's a whole community which you need to drive, right? Especially gaming, because if you want people to watch you, in fact, like we did a podcast with Blaze, and he says there was a community of 20, 30 people that follow him, and they occasionally game, and sometimes they do prize giveaways, charity events. So you need to broadcast your streams and also create that community that you have. And as I said, gamers is just as with content creators to all over the world. Same thing.
Some of the videos that I found the most creativity in is because, and it's mainly because they're storytellers as well too, are a lot of these Minecraft videos, Roblox videos. They're telling a story using the characters in the game. Now, they can use those. The graphics look great and everything like that. That's not something they have to worry about. What they have to worry about is the quality of the audio coming out of their mouths, the way that they tell the story. They have to be clear, they have to be concise, and people need to be able to pick up on every syllable that you're saying. Otherwise, no one's going to watch you because they can't hear you, they can't listen to you. Most of the there's an experiment that I think YouTube did, is that most people would rather listen to you in high quality than watch you, right? You know, they would minimize the screen and they keep listening to you. If you sound good, they're going to engage with you. If you say something interesting, they're going to look back at the screen, right? Only in those moments. But the rest of the time, they're doing something else. So RODE has now introduced a new brand to address the needs of gamers and content creators in that space. They call it RODE X because it's edgy.
RODE X.
All right. Extreme. X. Right. But hopefully, hopefully this catches on, because they actually started very modestly with a couple of new products. First product they have is called the XCM50. This is a little USB microphone that you can take with you on the road if you want. It's also compatible with a boom arm. You can attach it there. It's USB-C, which is fantastic. This is USB-C. Like a lot of products are still using micro USB, which should go away and die. This is USB-C. So power, control, and everything like that is done through a interface that you don't have to fiddle with because you can't get it wrong. And this microphone is a condenser microphone, meaning it is it's very sensitive. It can be placed up to 6 inches away from your mouth. So if you don't like talking close like we do to get that proximity effect,
I'm really close.
I know, like that. If you don't like gaming like that, you can definitely set this a little bit further away. It will still pick up your voice. It has a pickup pattern that will reject noise from behind it, so your keyboard strokes are minimized. So that's still okay. But keep in mind, though, if you're going to smash your keys or anything like that, it's still going to pick that up. But the size is what matters, because it folds almost flat. It's literally the size of a really big gaming mouse that you can take with you.
Oh.
And price of it is $149 USD. Now, I know if you see this microphone and you've been to a music shop, you've probably seen it as another product called the NT-USB, which is a $99 microphone. The main difference between the two, just so that everyone out there knows, is that RODE has added a DSP chip inside the microphone that is activated with software that I'm going to talk about just coming up.
Oh, right.
So this is a very unique feature. And again, I love the size. It's something that you can take with you. You can still podcast with it and everything like that. It's got a headphone jack. It's got a mute button now. So if you push the level controller in the middle of the microphone, it's easy to see where it is. It'll mute your stream, and then you can unmute it. No problem. So this is something that is taken from the gaming side, right? So very cool, right? Moving on, they also have something that is a little bit more professional when you're not on the road, but you want to have something with you in your studio. This is called the RODE XDM100. So X dynamic microphone. It's also USB-C. Now, previously, they had this as a USB-A, like the big connector and everything like that, which I hate. This one is upgraded to USB-C. fantastic.
And it's got the same
It's
chip?
got the same DSP chip as the XCM50, so it's going to be activated with the software we're going to talk about next. It's $149. Sorry, $249 for this one. It looks a lot like Rode's previous podcaster USB mic, which is actually a very, very good dynamic microphone. Because it's a dynamic microphone, it's not quite as sensitive. So it's like what we're using here. We're using dynamic microphones right now, so we have to be close to get that, radio voice, right? So that's what it sounds like.
Right.
But it's built for creating content with a little bit more flair, right? So if
so it's got the shock mount and what do you call them? The
comes with a shock mount, comes with a pop filter that you can insert on top of it, so it removes the plosives. And it's built for someone that wants to put in the effort to create stories on Minecraft, or Roblox. Like if you're narrating a story, you need a microphone that can pick up those dynamics and whoa, like that type of stuff, right? So it's really built for that versus the XCM
capture all those
emotions versus the XCM50, which is more of a multi-purpose kind of yelling at your squad gaming microphone.
Yeah,
so both were really cool. Again, this is these are two steps in the right direction. Also has a headphone jack if you are wired, so you can control the level and everything, and mute just in case you need to mute that. So you can use a higher quality set of headphones and not a gaming headset. So you don't need to do that. So it kind of takes care of both, right? In terms of unlocking the features of both of these, and these are both fantastic microphones on their own without the software. Like it's got its own audio interface on board because they're both USB, 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, like it's got all the bells and whistles inside. But what makes this amazing is that if you wanted to take the next step, you wanted to have your voice be bigger than it is, or you don't want to work as hard on your miking technique or your equalization, or you're a streamer and you want your Twitch stream to hear a certain thing, you want your squad to hear another thing, and you want to be able to monitor a different thing, then the Unify software for Rode is something that comes with both of these microphones, and it unlocks the DSP chip inside both microphones because it is a Rode X exclusive feature. This DSP chip is different. So
all right, it's only available for
Rode X.
And this software is a separate, you have to buy, or is
it's included with every Rode X microphone for the time being. It is compatible though with other Rode microphones and other microphones from other brands. The only thing that you lose is the ability to activate any DSP chip on non-Rode microphones. On Rode microphones, it knows what it is because it's got the profiles programmed into it from the software, but you don't get the advanced DSP. And the advanced DSP, what it's going to do as Rode gets more time with it and develops new features, you can even alter your voice. So you could be like Optimus Prime or something. I'm just making stuff up right now, but you can change your voice in such a way that it could be someone else's voice. It could sound completely different. You can be anonymous, right?
Yeah, or you can have a voice which, like you said, you might have a high pitched or high tone voice. You might be able to use the software to tone it down, make you have that really nice, sexy voice on the microphone, and that kind of stuff.
It really takes the guesswork out of creating content because when you're playing a game, you have 50 different things going on at the same time and you want the audio to sound good. If you don't have to focus on mic technique, you can just play your game. So I'm looking forward to features like, like auto gain and stuff like that, the ability to cut down noise reduction, the ability to, like remove keyboard clicks and stuff like that. These are things that are, like software related, but with a DSP chip on board, it can actually be done for you. This is very similar to the reason why people buy the Rodecaster Pro, which is their big mixing board for podcasting, is the fact that all this stuff is in hardware on that particular board. This one is more of a hybrid between the software and the hardware. And one of the nice things too is that the Unify software, it acts like a virtual Rodecaster Pro. So if you have friends over that have a Rode X microphone, and you have them sitting around the table, you could also do podcasts that way and record everything.
Okay, that sounds good.
Really neat, right?
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. That's pretty cool.
Now, one thing about the Unify software is that because they plan on developing this and putting a lot of resources into this, which I think is a good move, in Australia, they're going to be launching it for, I think it's $7.99 a month if you want to buy it for another microphone or just try it out. It's $69 Australian a year, which I think works out to about $4.49 US or $45 US. Yeah, $45 US for the year. So I don't know if they've released pricing for that. I think it's still an Australia specific thing. You still need to buy the microphone here to get that. But if you look at the price difference between all the microphones, like the NT USB Mini versus the XDM50 and the Rodecaster Podcaster versus the XDM100, that extra $75 to $50 that you spent, you're getting it in software, you're getting constant updates, you're getting USB-C, which is,
That's true.
great.
That's true. Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, if you're looking for a microphone of this type, it actually really pays to get the Rode X because it's just going to offer you more things to play with on the road or even in your regular content creation. I mean, it's good to have options.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's why you have different audio recording sessions where, like, for example, now, and then we use another platform and we sound totally different. Like, so good, right? That's all to do with that software that's controlled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's where people have decided that they want to put their effort in, right? Again, if our podcast sounds good, you want to listen more. If our podcast sounds like crap, you probably wouldn't want to listen no matter how good the visuals are. I think that's very fair to say.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, moving on. You've got something, a masterclass from Nvidia again. Tell us more.
Yeah, so winter is coming and it's time to keep warm. So if you've got if you're after an electric heater, then well, there's PC gamers, graphics cards. Joking aside, we all know graphics cards can run real hot, right? So hence the massive cooling you need. But what people don't realize is that the graphics card is how much wattage it uses at full load. I mean, full load meaning 100% usage. You're playing games, you're doing photo editing, video editing, that kind of stuff. That's like full load. So Nvidia's recently launched their GeForce RTX 4090. It's a big beast, right? And it costs like $1,500. But it uses a whopping 450 watts of power.
It's like a heat pump.
Now, yeah. So there's been reports that the new 16-pin PCI-E 5 connector, which they use, a 16-pin, it gets so hot, right, that it's actually melted the actual connector, both on the cable and the PCB board of the graphics cards. So what's your thoughts on that?
Uncle Jensen, do you test these things? I mean, come on.
It's like one bad press after another.
What's going on, Uncle Jensen?
It's crazy.
Come on, Uncle.
They tried reducing the amount of because they wanted to reduce the amount of power cables used for the graphics cards. Normally, you have to connect up like two 8-pin or sometimes 3 8-pin power connectors for this graphics card. But by reducing that, it's actually backfired because now it's using only one 16-pin PCI connector, right? Ooh. So you imagine the 400, 500 watt usage of power
through this tiny little
exactly, yeah. So I'm just saying to Nvidia, look, just stick with what works. Just 2 8-pin. That's fine.
Having said that, though, I mean, Nvidia wants to be an innovative company. They don't want to be, told that they're not doing anything and they're just sitting around doing nothing, right? So I guess this was something.
Yeah.
And I know that smaller connectors can be done. I mean, Tesla has done it with their charging connectors. They're actually smaller than everyone else's, yet they don't overheat. You're putting like 300 up to 350 kilowatt through that.
That's true. That is true.
Do we need water-cooled cables inside graphics cards now? Is that what we're looking for? I mean, there's got to be a way to do this, right?
Yeah. Well, they actually just made an announcement to some of the the guys out there who are actually testing these boards, not overclocking these boards. Any melted connectors or any of these manufacturers get these melted connectors to send them to Nvidia themselves so they can actually do some investigation, do some testing and things like that, find out where the problem is. It's basically because like I said, the cable is so small that you have a huge amount of wattage of power going through there. It's just not handling it. So maybe they'll fix it. Right now, if you want to get the latest and greatest, I usually hold off. And when things come out and they announce it, I usually wait about 6 months before I get it because you never know. You're going to have these problems with having people not fully
Yeah.
testing these products. And like I said, one of these is the melted connector.
True.
It's just crazy. Imagine spending $1,500.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
And then you're finding out this thing happened.
Well, I'm perfectly happy with my 3060 Ti. And since the new drivers came out, they removed the low hash rate, even though it doesn't matter for my Ethereum mining anymore because it doesn't work anymore. I'm okay with that. Like it seems like it was a good move to go to 3060 Ti when the 4000 series came out. I probably won't buy a new graphics card until at least 5,000 or 6,000 now, because I think they're still working things out. I do like the fact that Nvidia is making it easier for us to build cleaner systems. But I wish that, like you said there, and you shared this information, I wish they did a little bit more testing on this, right? Remember with EVGA, if EVGA went with this, they wouldn't even be able to test the connectors. They'd have such a nightmare.
They'll have to replace the whole graphics
thing,
card, which costs $1,500, right? Imagine a company like that where the profit margin, like I said before, per graphics card is only like $10-15.
It doesn't make sense for them to do this. And I mean, they're technically Nvidia's closest partner, but why do you gotta be like that? Why do you gotta be like that?
I don't know. Oh, one more thing, that because they knew for a fact right away that the graphics card is going to produce a lot of heat. Have you seen the size of the graphics card? It's literally
the size of a heat pump.
Huge.
It is the size of a heat pump.
It is massive. When you put one of these in, the RTX 4090, it takes up half your case, the room inside. No. And it's just nuts.
Not for me.
That's it, and it doesn't look good.
No.
Okay, performance-wise, you might get some good benchmarks. For gaming, though, you're not going to get much real, life-changing experience from having a $1,500 card with a problem with heating and that kind of stuff.
Well, a $1,500 card in your $1,500 system. Does that even make sense? It's even bigger than your $1,500 system. It's bigger than your mini ITX system with a huge Noctua NHD 15 on board. I mean, this looks wrong. This looks wrong to me.
It's just crazy.
Nuts.
Crazy. But it's we're talking about melted connectors. We're not talking small, just a little thing at the end. It literally, the whole connector just got melted, just kind of merged in. Like, have you seen that when the whole it was just crazy.
So
how
not only have you melted the connector on your graphics card, that you sold your old graphics card to buy this new one, but you've melted the cable going to your PSU, and now you have no PSU and no graphics card.
There's a big, of course, problem with the fire risk, right? Because
and your house is going to go on fire.
But it's just nuts. I mean, the amount of power that you need for powering up the graphics cards is crazy. I've got I recently bought a second-hand RTX 3090.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, it wasn't cheap for a second-hand, but it's okay. I paid about $500-$600.
That's not bad. Come on, man, that's okay.
But it is, and hey, I only need 2 power connectors.
There you go.
That's it, right? Not 3, and it doesn't overheat. But when it's a full load, I can see the power draw, and it's like almost 400 watts. Yeah, it's just crazy. So it's you got to think about how much power you need for graphics cards these days. It's just nuts, and that's probably why you need a 1,000-watt power supply.
It was funny you mentioned that, and I think that you can corroborate with that because you do have connections to the UK, is that it costs almost 34 pence per hour to run a gaming system in the UK right now. It's almost the same as playing a video game.
Per hour, right? Yeah, that's true. Isn't
that crazy?
It's because the electricity right now, the cost of electricity is quite high in the UK now, especially what happened in Europe. With
that's
the
a kilowatt hour. That's a kilowatt hour.
Yeah, and they don't have any clean energy. Oh, well, they do occasionally. Up in Scotland, they have the wind, right? But most of the power comes from either nuclear or oil or gas, right? And so they don't have anything like here in Canada where it's like hydro,
wind farms, biomass,
waves, things
wave.
like that. Wind farms they do have occasionally, but it's only for powering industrial areas, but not for homes. So still, if you look at electricity running cost per household, it is a lot more expensive in the UK. Apparently, also in California as well.
And I think we touched on that in our last podcast on why. One of our podcasts where we're talking about why the grid sucks in California and in Texas, and it's not the people's fault. It's actually all this government crap that goes on that makes it hard for them to have the vision that they have, because there's just people that just don't agree on one side and want to make life miserable for others. Anyway, U.S. politics, not our thing. Don't want to talk about it. I don't want to touch about it. But I do want to talk about something controversial, which is the new iPad.
Oh, the new iPad? I've heard about it, but I haven't seen any real news about it. I think it was just a rumor.
It's on purpose.
Is it gonna be...
It's on purpose. Want to know why?
Okay.
Because Apple normally has a dog and pony show. You know, they drag everyone out on stage, and it's like the most amazing thing. You got to have this. It's going to change the world. It is a new iPad. Two times faster, 40%, blah, blah, blah. You know, they normally do that.
Yeah.
Well, this new iPad, I think, is exactly what Apple didn't want to do. They've created a new iPad with the USB-C connector. It's the last one in their entire iPad lineup that is not USB-C, and it's done now. Every single iPad is now USB-C. And this is probably motivated by the fact that the EU said, nope, Apple, you don't get to do what you want here. Right? Otherwise, you don't get to sell your stuff here.
Does that mean they'll have the iPhone as well and USB-C? Or
next gen will be,
iPhone?
And maybe it'll be a new feature that they reinvent. That they'll take this thing off of the EU ruling and say, well, actually, we've been developing this for many, many years now, and
it's USB-C, Apple style, two times faster.
It's called overvolt, and we reinvented USB-C again. We've reinvented it.
They have to pay a license. You do realize they have to pay a license to the USB consortium.
They do, and they also have to pay Intel, I believe, for Thunderbolt, which was actually Lightpeak before it became Thunderbolt. Right. So very interesting. So now Apple doesn't have a proprietary standard that they can take all the royalties and money for. They have to use everyone else's. Yeah. They have to pay the consortium. They have to pay Intel probably for Lightpeak licensing as well too, and they don't get that money anymore. So they're going to take it out of people's pockets, because this new iPad, the original one with the Lightning connector, was $329. This new one, $449.
It's that expensive?
$449. It's 64 gigabyte. It's Wi-Fi 6 and 5G available. 5G is available now, but it has no M2 chip. It's not like the other ones. It's using an A14, so it's basically the same as the iPhone this year. iPhone 14 this year. It comes in blue, pink, yellow, and silver. It has a different sleek sculpted look, so it looks like the other iPads now. They've changed that. A 10.9-inch liquid retina screen, which is, it's a good screen. Don't get me wrong, but it's not amazing compared to some of the higher end technology out there, but it's still good. It still looks great. Yeah. There's a camera in the middle. Now,
in the middle of where?
It's like a laptop now. So the laptop screen, when you turn it landscape, it's at the top.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, it's not at the top. It's at the other top. So it's right there. And they're going to sell a new folio that is offered at $229 that will turn it into a laptop, basically. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not really an iPad; it's a two-in-one.
It's like an enhanced iPad Air, I would say, with a with an A14 Bionic chip on board. Sure.
With a keyboard.
It'll have a keyboard.
You have to buy that separately, like
so $449 was $229. It's compatible with the first-gen Apple Pencil, which is a little bit less money than the other ones, but starting to get harder to find. Yeah. But you can use that with this folio and the screen and everything. It works together. It's 64 gigabyte. That's the entry level. There's going to be higher capacities, obviously, but that's basically your minimum. So the worst thing though is that because the lower end iPads are typically purchased by parents to keep their kids quiet, they took away the headphone jack.
Oh, right. So everything has to be Bluetooth.
Wireless. So kids will be losing their wireless headsets in planes, and that's it. So not a very consumer-friendly device. A definite middle finger to everyone because they had to go USB-C.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a product that they want to say, hey,
Screw all you.
Okay, this is you want me to do this, so this is what I'm going to produce for you guys.
But having said that, though,
kind of
the original iPad, if you get it on the Apple Refurb store for $329 minus the discount for being a refurb, in my experience, Apple refurbished stuff is pretty much all of their warranty products that are not exchanged, so they look almost brand new. So if you want an iPad today and you want one inexpensive, and you keep in mind that Apple still supports their products for a number of years, of course they'll slow it down and nuke the battery, but it'll be a good price. It'll be under $300 for a previous generation iPad. This new one has USB-C, but if you have a bunch of Lightning stuff at home already and a bunch of headphones that you need to use, and you need a new iPad today, get the original one. Go to the refurb store at the bottom of their website. They always hide it. And just buy there.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one.
I would. I mean, even like previous generation of iPhones, if they have them, they're just as good. In fact, before I got the 13 Pro, I wanted to get an 12. And they didn't sell it because the 13 Pro came. It was announced last year. All the Pro versions of 12 and 11, they were available to buy on the website. But if they had refurb ones, or what do you call it, X stock or dead stock, then I would probably got myself one of those.
And a lot of people don't actually know that this part of the store exists because they never advertise it. It's literally at the bottom of the website. You look for, the outlet, Apple, whatever. They give it a name that looks off, and then you click on it, and then you get access to their entire refurbished, like good as new inventory. And
they need to do that for their green credentials, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're claiming to be green, environmental, this and that and the other, you need to show that you're doing this. But they don't advertise it because they don't want you to buy
they want
that
full
kind of
margin.
stuff. They want you to, they want you to buy the full product, full price, new stuff.
Yeah.
But
in my experience, highly recommended to do that if you want to get the previous generation. Need a headphone jack, need it to look a certain way, need it to have Lightning connector and everything for just one more generation before you go USB-C. And a better price, do that. But new iPad quietly released with a middle finger to the EU. Available now for a lot more money. Great.
I'll skip that generation, I think. Whatever.
All right.
Next.
Speaking of companies with very inflated egos, Tesla has a bit of a recall problem. Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Remember the CyberQuad, the kids' toy?
Oh, you mean the quad bike? Okay, what happened to that?
The CyberQuad for kids has a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
Because it can travel 10 miles per hour, it doesn't meet some of the requirements for an ATV or a quad. In fact, it's related to the suspension and also the tire pressure not being adequate to support a child, and also that speed leading to potentially injuries and also other things that could cause your child to have distress. So they're recalling all of them. I don't know how many of them they sold, but what has been stated is that Radio Flyer, which are the people that build the red wagons that every kid has had at some point in the past or ridden in or gone downhill in, that company is actually taking ownership of the problem because they work with Tesla for the look of the ATV only. They did not Tesla themselves did not lend any of their engineering expertise to that particular toy, which was being sold on their online store. So
it was more of a Tesla branded ATV,
toy.
But it wasn't developed and produced by Tesla themselves.
Yeah. So I bet you anything that if Radio Flyer, a much smaller company with not as many Twitter followers, were to actually blame Tesla for any of this, they probably would have gotten canceled by the Tesla Elon Musk for shipping people. And how they are, right? So I think that was smart to actually take ownership of that. And then I bet you anything they didn't sell a whole lot of them. So they're recalling all of them. So if your kid has one of these, you're going to have to rip it away from their hands and watch them cry. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, safety is paramount, right? I mean, you need to make sure that, if you get one of these products, it's not going to break your arm or have a serious injury, anything like that, especially with vehicles.
Well,
and
10
things
miles
like
per hour is actually quite fast.
I
mean, it's about 16 kilometers an hour, I think. Yeah.
So, 16, yeah.
So it's like a For a kid, it's a brisk run.
I've seen people with on those scooters, electric scooters, or those, what do you call them, uni surfboard things? It's like a surfboard.
A surfboard?
Sorry, a skateboard.
Oh,
a skateboard like, with the one wheel.
Wheels. It's literally called the one wheels. Yeah, those are all Vancouver.
It's one wheel. All right, I've seen those people going on them, and they're going super fast. They're not even on the road. They're on the pavement, the sidewalk. And I've seen one come in. I thought, oh my God, do I get out of the way? He actually slowed down, but imagine he couldn't slow down, or he couldn't get. I don't know. I don't even know how you slow down on one of those.
Yeah,
there's no command, right? There's no command to say.
That's
right. Do with the pressure on the foot to say
you push
slow
back
down
and then you push forward
fast.
to go. But, like it's a gyro and everything. It's like a Segway, right? They also have the unicycles as well too. Where you ride on top of the wheel, and the wheel is the size of a bike tire. The things rip, and there's no regulation on either of those because they're not a bicycle, they're not a moped. They're like, what are they? They have a one wheel. Okay, well that's not a moped or a bicycle. Yeah. But like again, these things go fast, and like the CyberQuad is made of metal. The thing is heavy. So if something were to happen, there's probably going to be a steel beam inside a kid. So I'm glad that they picked up on this issue and they're recalling them. I think safety is absolutely paramount. I know that even though we think Elon Musk doesn't actually care, he has kids of his own. He probably does care in some capacity. And I think that, like if anything were to happen, there would be a storm, especially since we now know that Elon Musk is going through with the purchase of Twitter. He walked into Twitter headquarters with a sink, like a sink.
What's that symbolize?
Let it sink in.
What does that symbolize? I don't know.
I own. Let it sink in. Right? So
that's really
a troll.
Cool.
So he's the ultimate troll. He's also written a letter to all of the advertisers on Twitter saying that, hey, stuff is not going to be bad for you. It might even be better, in his own words, which might mean anything.
Well, there's a ton of things that he could do with Twitter, right? Because as a communication platform, you've seen how communication platforms in big economies like China, they have with the WeChat, loads of functionality on that. So Twitter, you could turn that into a multi-function, multi-platform, system where you can do payments, you can do video, you can do everything on there, gaming and all sorts. Because I can think, especially with I've seen Dogecoin that he just rocketed. It could be anything, and if he does that, he needs to do lots of changes in Twitter.
Yeah, let it sink in. And right? he just screwed over his buddy Kanye because Kanye wanted to buy Parler, and now because Elon Musk just bought Twitter, his Kanye's investment in Parler will be worthless because he's going to let all the people back onto the platform that they have previously banned. So who knows what happens? I don't like talking about that political stuff because it just makes my brain hurt, knowing that people think a certain way when there is no logical reason to do so. Okay, I'm going to end this show on that note. So if you want to yell at us about anything that you've heard on the show, especially me, I prefer that you engage, but you can find me at Twitter at Stephen Fung, on Twitter, on Elon's new platform, or on Instagram at Stephen Fung as well. How about you, Winston?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Winston Chim, and also at Instagram at Winston Chim. So mostly do with lifestyle stuff. So, but yeah, you can engage with me.
Please don't yell.
Like Stephen.
Yelling hurts. And with that in mind, we have to wrap the show. Thank you so much for watching and listening every single week. And most importantly, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon, of course, because that way Winston and I can let you know every Wednesday when we launch a brand new show so we can interact with you and engage with you again. Until next time, bye for now.
True. Bye-bye.